Yes. I can see Oyibozi from DSN Calabar, Motayo Olabisi from Futa Akure, Timothy from Ebonyi. Welcome, everyone. Good afternoon, good morning, and good evening from wherever you are joining us. If this is your first time joining this session, this is why we do this. Welcome to the DSN Research Masterclass 2025. And the topic we'll be discussing is the researcher's journey crafting ideas into impactful products. All through this month, we are going to be learning how to write a research paper and how to turn it into a product. But before we start, for the sake of the people that are just joining us for the first time, please confirm in the chat if you can see my screen and you can hear me clearly. Let me see yes in the chat if you can hear me clearly and my screen is up. Thank you so much for the feedback, iPhone. Thank you so much, Victor. Yes, very quickly, I'll be introducing us to what we do at DSN. Like I said, this is for the sake of the people that are joining us for the first time, and I'm not really going to be wasting time at all. Our commitment remains to raise 1 million AI talents and build AI solutions that improve the quality of life and well-being of 2 billion people in the emerging market. This is our five area of focus that we do day in, day out. We are very interested in community development, and that's why we're here today. We're also very interested in ecosystem development. We believe that it's not good to go alone. It's better to go with others so that we can go far. We do what we call capacity development. We do what we call research, which we're also doing today as a community. We want to expose all our community members to the act of writing research paper. We are very heavy of consulting and product development. The community is a very big one, as you can see. We have a learning reach across 96 countries in the world. Yes, you heard me right. We have learning reach across 96 countries in the world. And in Nigeria itself, we have our campus club and city communities across the country. Across the 36 states in the country, you can find a DSN presence there. My colleague will be dropping some important links in the chat so that you can connect to the DSN in your locality. This is the map. I mean, this is the map showing our presence everywhere. Like I said the other time, yes, we're actually in 96 countries. And this is what the community entails. You can see that there is something for everybody in the community. We have the campus community and the city community for the undergraduates, the graduates, and the professionals. We have the ladies in AI for the women in the community. We have the kids and things for the young ones who are just coming up. We have what we call the AI for schools, also for the schools. Yes, we believe that if we can introduce AI to the adults, why not also do it in our secondary schools and primary schools? We have the AI professionals, we have the AI for executive, we have the AI startup, and then the AI researchers. And we have our partners and we have our hub partners who has also been helping us to achieve our mission and vision at DSN. So there's something to cater for everybody in the community. This is AI every day where we train people. Our annual learning calendar runs through the year such that we can teach people from January to December. This is AI every day, which we do at the beginning of every year, where we train people on beginners focus data science, data analytics, and AI. Our AI every city cuts across the city, cuts across everywhere in the country. This is one intervention at DSN that allows us, that helps us to reach the nooks and crannies of the country. We do this every year, and this will also be coming up very soon. If you've been following with our annual learning calendar, you actually see where we are currently and the things that we are still going to be doing in the subsequent months. This is the 2024 AI Bootcamp. Some of us on this call were there last year. It was an awesome session. I mean, it was an awesome program, not even a session because it's a 5 day massive learning. The AI Bootcamp is I'll call it the biggest intervention in the community where we immerse the best of the best talent for 5 days and all expense paid AI Bootcamp. We accommodate them, we feed them, and we make sure that they learn fully. I mean, we invite speakers from all over the world, nothing less than 30 speakers, always talking about what we call AI, the core of AI. We talk about lifestyle, where we bring our ladies in here to also have a panel session. I'm very sure you will be eager to attend this year 2025 AI Bootcamp because it's also going to be happening physically. And about the DSN Ladies in AI community, this is a community specifically created for our females. Yes, there's a need for inclusion, and this is why we created this community to cater for the female. Recently, I mean, during this week, we released a campaign where we shared something on mentorship. So the DSN Ladies in our community will be focusing for the next few months on what we call mentorship. Yeah, my colleague will be dropping some of the links and some of this flyer for you to see all this intervention that we do at DSN. Yeah, these are more pictures showing how we train our females, how we make them to be included in all our interventions. So this is the link to join the DSN Ladies in Our community. You can quickly scan this to join the community. You can quickly scan this to join the community. And yes, talking about our research, I mean, one of the focus of DSN is research. We get our papers published across all top conferences in the world. This is some of our papers that we published last year. That is also why we're also having this today, so that you as a community member, you can also publish your paper. You can also write research paper. And the act of writing research paper goes a long way, more than just writing. We believe that all research are actually meant to solve a problem. They are a solution in the making. So there's a need for you to publish your paper, and there's a need for you to also make sure that your paper is known so that you can turn the paper into product. Yes, so we represent everywhere. Any top conferences you just mentioned it, we've participated there. This is what at DLI last year at Senegal. Yes, we were there fully represented, and this is how our paper has been mentioned several times on academia.edu. If we check these numbers now, I can tell you this number would have done it times two already. This number would have done it times two already. Yes, and we have a product called Equalize AI. This is what we call the DSN AI startup. Some of us have been saying this already. Oh, what is DSN? Is DSN now Equalize AI? So there is a lot going on, and Equalize AI is the DSN AI startup where we pipeline all the product that we are building, all the research that we are doing. How we turn them into a product is through Equalize AI. This is Equalize AI last year at the DLI, where we showcase it to everyone in Dakar, Senegal. And like I said, we are very keen on ecosystem development, which means that we want to go with others. We don't want to do it alone because the sky is too big for just one person to be flying. So we're always supporting every government initiative on what we call national artificial intelligence. Talk about how the government is driving national intelligence. Who we always do our bit to support, and this is us also adding our bit. So this is just to speak to why be a DSNer. For some of us that are on here, I can bet you know why you need to be a DSNer. But for the people that are just joining this call, this is the reason why you need to be a DSNer, because there is a whole lot for you to gain from being a DSN community member. Why be a DSNer? Access to mentorship opportunities. Every month, we'll do this, and this is why we're here today for this mentorship session. You will be exposed to mentorship opportunities, mentorship sessions like this so that you can build yourself. By the time you are done learning, by the time you are done gaining all the certificate, there's a need for you to be mentored by those who have actually passed through the stage. I mean, there are stages in life, and it's always good when you don't stress yourself to get things done, because some people have actually undergone what you are just undergoing. So it's very easy for you to make sure that you be under a mentorship, and that's why we expose all our community members to it. Access to premium training content and facilities. Like I said, our annual learning calendar cuts through the year from January to December. We are exposing our community members to different things, and you can always plug yourself into our annual learning calendar to also get immersed and gain full knowledge. Research support and collaboration, just like I said, this is just one bit of what we are doing for the community this year. We are running this DSN Research Masterclass for all of us that are interested in writing research paper, publishing it, and turning it into a product. That is why we've organized this for all of us, and then get a certificate of participation. At the end of the year, we are going to be issuing to everybody who has been consistent in the community what we call a certificate of participation. This is a certificate that you can even add to your CV. Yes, you can showcase it that yes, I'm a DSN member, and we've had feedbacks. We've gotten testimonials of people saying, "Oh, I joined DSN mentorship session. I joined DSN free trainings, and right now I have jobs. Right now I have scholarships." A lot of testimonials like that, and it's also something that you can also boast of in the few coming months. So become a DSN now. You can quickly scan this QR code on my screen. It takes you to where you can register to be an AI member, and this leads you to our Telegram group where we have over 15,000 community members interacting daily. Yes, interacting daily. So quickly scan this. My colleague will also be dropping the links in the chat. Yes, so this is another QR code for you to scan to connect with the DSN community in your locality, in your vicinity. Yes, at DSN Central here, we do a lot, but we also make sure that we get everybody connected at their own vicinity, at their own locality. So once you scan this, you will see links, you will see WhatsApp links, which tells you, okay, this is a community that is near me, which I can join. So quickly scan this. We will also be dropping the links in the chat. And this is the annual learning calendar that I've been speaking to, that I've been talking about. You can see that we have the calendar run through the year. Currently now we are on the mentorship session. By next month, we are going to start planning for the free AI classes, and the free AI classes leads to what we call the AI bootcamp. And yeah, this goes on like that. And this is the link to also, this is the QR code to also scan the annual learning calendar if you are here to have access to it. And we have a knowledge box. Yeah. This knowledge box contains over 25,000 learning content, updated, up to date. I mean, up to date. You will see 2025 content, you will see 2024 content in this knowledge box. This is an online repository that we've created for our committee members to learn at their home pace. Yeah, there's a lot on the internet that you can actually access, but we'll make sure to create things that are bespoke to you as a learner. Are you interested in data analytics? Are you interested in data science? Are you interested in data engineering? Are you interested in core research? Are you interested in computer vision? All you need to do is to go access this link and you will see something for you. Yeah, so you can also scan our annual report to see what we've been doing over the year. I mean, there's a lot we're always doing that we can't even report here because of time. So if you scan this, you get to see all our interventions at DSN. So this is all to know about the DSN Research Masterclass. For all of us that have been participating since day one, which was last week. Tell me again, how was the week one and how has this been? This particular week, we are learning about literature and methodology. Yeah, literature review and methodology. How has it been? How was learning this week? Yeah, it's been a self-paced learning, and I know that you've enjoyed it. So from Monday to Thursday, we are going to be having the self-paced learning. And on every Friday like this, we are going to be having our facilitator dialing to take us through what we've actually read through the week. Yeah, so that is the method we are using to deliver this particular training. And this happens every Friday at 3 p.m. So moving on quickly, like I said, our speaker is on the call. Let me introduce our speaker, Dr. Roslyn Ogundokun. Dr. Roslyn Oluwase Ogundokun is an esteemed AI researcher, computer scientist, and academic specializing in artificial intelligence, computer vision, deep learning, medical imaging, machine learning, and information security. She's currently a postdoctoral fellow at the Department of Computer System Engineering, Sure University of Technology, Pretoria, South Africa. She holds a PhD in computer science from the University of Ilorin, Nigeria, and is pursuing a second PhD in multimedia engineering at Kaunas University of Technology, Lithuania. Dr. Ogundokun has made significant contributions to the field of AI-driven research, with over 25 publications indexed in Google Scholar and 159 indexed in Scopus, accumulating thousands of citations. Her research impact has entered a place among the top 2% of scientists worldwide in 2020-2024, recognized by SVR and Stanford University. Consequently, she has been consistently ranked among 500 researchers in Nigeria for over 5 years, based on cyber analysis using Scopus SVR data. If I were you, I would be doing my claps already in the chat. This is a very solid citation. This is a very solid citation. As a lecturer and researcher at Landmark University in Nigeria, she has played a pivotal role in AI-driven predictive analytics, medical diagnostics, and smart healthcare solutions, advancing research that aligns with Sustainable Development Goals 3, 4, and 11. She has also served as a visiting lecturer at Thomas Adewumi University and the Nigerian Army College of Education, where she teaches advanced courses in software engineering, human-computer interaction, and database management. Dr. Rosin Ogudokun, an AI researcher and lecturer at Landmark University, is one of our top mentors at DSN, and she's here today to guide us on what we've been learning through this week on literature review and methodology. With clapping ovations, let's welcome Dr. Roslyn Ogundoku as she takes on this session. Good afternoon, Dr. Roslyn Ogundoku. Please confirm you can hear me. and you are with us this
Yeah,
afternoon.
I can. Good
Thank
afternoon,
you
and
so
thank
much.
you for having me.
So it's a player. Thank you so much for joining us. It's always a pleasure having you around. Over to you, Dr. Rosemary Ogudokun.
All right, thank you very much once again. And to start with, I would say I was privileged to attend the boot camp last year, 2024. I was one of the participants that attended, and I never remained the same. I learned a lot. Even as a lecturer, there was a lot for me to learn, new things to learn. So I thank DSN for that opportunity last year. So let me share my screen. Yeah, I believe you can all see my screen.
Yes, we can see your screen. Your screen is up.
All right, thank you. So I'll be talking on the title Building a Strong Research Foundation, Literature Review and Methodology Explained. So, like I've been introduced as my name, Roslyn Oluwaseun Ogudokun. And I'll be going through the presentation outline, introduction, understanding literature review, research methodology overview, structuring literature review and methodology, then practical tips and resources, and then I conclude. So, as a form of introduction, why a strong foundation? That is trying to build research on a solid foundation is very, very important and impactful. So a thorough literature review, that is, there is no how you can do a research or conduct a good research without a literature review. Almost all the time, you have to review and see what is happening in the research world before we can actually gain an insight into what we want to build on or how we want to solve one problem or the other. So literature review is very, very crucial and important in research as well as a methodology, because when you review and you know what problem you are trying to solve, you have to build a methodology, or you have to go through the design and implementing the methodology before you can be able to achieve that your research or the end product that we are trying to build. So a thorough literature review and a well-planned methodology ensure your study is grounded in existing knowledge and it follows a rigorous plan. So what is the context and the justification of this? A strong foundation helps to provide context showing how your work fits into or build upon prior research. Like I said, we have researches already involved. Just like Bukumi introduced to us, there are people that have published articles in DSN. So you have to review, you have to go through those articles, you have to read through before you can actually get your own idea on what you want to work on or the idea you want to build on. That's what this justification is talking about. So highlighting gaps, like I said, you have read an article, you have read a publication, and then you see that there are some limitations, there are some gaps that you can fill in that article. That is what literature review does for us, and also methodology. And then the better outcome is that by understanding past findings and using appropriate methods, you improve the validity of your result. And then in short, a good literature review and methodology sets your project up for success from the start. So understanding literature review, what are the things that we're going to be looking at to guide us through understanding how literature review is conducted and the essence of it? We first define what literature review is about, and then the purpose of literature review. And then I will talk about there are different types of literature review. I will talk about some of it: narrative, traditional, systematic, and also meta-analysis literature review. And then I'll talk about searching and organizing our literature, then critical appraisal and statistics, then tools and database that can be used for literature review and methodology. Now, defining a literature review. A literature review is a section of our research work that collects key sources on a topic or discussion, or it collects key sources on a topic and discuss those sources in conversation with each other. So when we're talking about literature review, you are trying to collect important points about a topic, important concepts about a topic, and then we try to discuss those sources with each other. We try to discuss, we try to compare, we try to look for gaps, we try to look for how to come in and improve those gaps or try to solve those problems. That's what literature review is all about. It examines current knowledge related to your research question. Now, when you are trying to go into a research, you have an idea of what you want to do, you have an idea of the area you want to work in, and then you are trying to, in your mind, you'll be asking some questions that, okay, maybe how do you solve this problem in this field of research? How do you solve that problem? Those can come up as our research questions. So in trying to examine current knowledge in that our research question area, we use literature review to do that. And then it should be comprehensive and very critical and purposeful. So in practical, this means like that we are trying to summarize what is known. We are trying to evaluate the quality of the existing studies, and then we try to synthesize finding to review insights and gaps that I've been repeating since. Then literature review involves choosing the right type of literature review. It depends on our research objective, and then the scope of existing literature and the level of analysis required. So how do we decide the type of literature review that we want to do? This depends on our main research objective or the scope of the existing literature that we are trying to look into. So, like I said, I'll be discussing some of the literature review types. The first one is narrative review, which is normally called the traditional review. It is a broad overview of relevant literature presented in a qualitative or story-like manner. Just from the word narrative, like you are telling story. You have reviewed some articles and then you give it back to the audience as if you are telling the story. So it is more flexible and maybe subjective, allowing the author to highlight themes and trends. That is, for instance, we are talking about, we are saying AI, what are the trends in AI? What is happening in the world of AI? So you now you try to narrate what is trending as at today in the world of AI. So that is like a traditional way of reviewing a research or a previous knowledge. So the narrative review are helpful for background and context, and then they may exclude some opposing or minor findings. So the second one is systematic review. Systematic review is a very rigorous review that follows a structure, replicable process to find all relevant study in a specific question. Systematic review is very, very tedious. Most times you can spend months trying to write a systematic review because there's a particular structure that is already being developed for us to follow in trying to write a systematic review. The most common one is the one that they call PRISMA. PRISMA is a systematic review way or method that is a systematic review method that we can use in writing our literature systematic review article. So there's already a structure that is outlined in by previous researchers or by previous research work. So those structure is already existing, and then what we just do, we just pick the structure and then we try to follow it one up after the other. The experience I have in writing systematic review, the first thing is you go to a database that contain articles, and then from there you drop your from your research objective. You have some keywords. I know some of us are familiar with what keywords is. So you have some keywords to the topic you are trying to write on. So those keywords, you use it to search the articles that are relevant to those keywords. So when you search that article, then you read the abstract. Reading the abstract, from there you know whether, okay, this article is relevant to what you are trying to do. The one that is not relevant to what you're trying to do, you discard it. And then from there you move to analysis and so on. So those are some of the structures that are followed in systematic review. So the main summary of systematic review is that it is a structured way of reviewing. So there is already an existing structure that is applicable to be used for this systematic review. The other one, the third one is meta-analysis. It is a subset of systematic review. Most times when you see some articles online, it's combined with meta-analysis. So the meta-analysis is mainly about the like a qualitative, like a quantitative conclusion. In most times it involves like analysis analysis. So when you know systematic review is just like a structure that you have followed, you just follow the structure, you review those articles. But when you are trying to bring in the meta-analysis, you try to include like a statistical analysis. Statistical analysis are being included in this area where we have some analysis, some results from gotten from the review that was done, and then you report those results to us. Then from there, someone that can pick, so if anybody pick that article, they are able to improve or get like a research problem or objective that they can actually work in that field that you have reviewed on. Then the next point is searching and organizing literature review. That is effective literature review starts with strategic searching. Like I said, there are some databases that are available for us to search our articles. We have databases like Google Scholar. Most of us are familiar with that. We have PubMed. PubMed is used mainly, it contains articles like medical research articles. Then we have Scopus. Scopus contains a lot of articles. In fact, most journals, high impact journals are included in the Scopus. We have IEEE, Explore, we have Web of Science. There is a lot of them. But I know the most common one that people normally use is Google Scholar. And most of these academic database, sometimes you need subscription to it, but the Google Scholar is free. It's accessible by anyone. You can go there, search your articles, and then you get out of it. But most times, all these Scopus, before you can get those articles to even that to download, most times you have to have subscription for it, and most times it's our university-based subscription that we normally use. But in IEEE, sometimes too, most of their articles are not even free. They are not open. So most times it's always good you go through the Google Scholar if you are trying to search for these articles. And then we have some operators that we use in searching for those articles with our keywords. We have operators like and, or, not. Those operators are used in searching for our keywords. For instance, if I'm trying to search for maybe the AI method that I use in the medical field, maybe like maybe I say, okay, deep learning models for cancer prediction. So if I want to use that, my keyword is deep learning, my another keyword is cancer, another keyword is prediction. So I can say deep learning and, okay, I can say deep learning or machine learning and cancer and prediction. So if you use that search string and drop it on the database, it will bring out the articles that are relating to those keywords that we have used to search. So like I've been saying, literature review is like it represents like a stack of book. So it's like a body of stack of books is like a body of literature. So a thorough literature review involves searching through the academic stack for publication to build knowledge. So, okay, so as you find those resources, you organize the literature. For example, we can use the spreadsheet. So most times, like if it's corpus that you are using to search your database, you can download that the articles that you have searched for. It can be downloaded in Excel format. So the Excel format is now what you now use to analyze the results or the result of the search that you have gotten. So you use it to analyze it, and then there you are able to read the abstract. Then you are able to exclude those articles that are not related to the work you are trying to the research you're trying to work on, and then you include those ones that are related to it. So most times you use spreadsheets, which is Excel, to do those analysis sometimes. Then we have a reference manager to record key details like our research question, the method findings, the notes on relevance. Then the next point we are going to be talking on is critical appraisal and synthetics. So a good literature review is not just a summary, it is an analysis. We should put in mind that when we are trying to conduct a literature review, we know we are analyzing. We are not just summarizing and writing story. We are analyzing for people to read and for them to gain insight from. So for example, for each source, access to we access is credibility. Nice. Is it peer reviewed? It's always advisable you use an article that is peer reviewed, meaning that articles like conference articles, they are peer reviewed because before they are accepted, there are experts that will have read, that will have given comments for you to improve those articles before they are now published as conference proceedings. There are even journals too. They are peer reviewed too. There's one they call preprint. Preprint is not peer review. So most times when you try to review those articles, they are not acceptable. So because they believe that when you read peer review articles, experts have already contributed to it. They've already added their own expertise to it, and then you are able to deliver a contributable research to the research world. So we also compare our findings across studies. There are studies already existing. When you get your own findings, you try to compare your own findings with existing findings. That's what is normally done in the research work. So that is, we are trying to check whether authors agree with what the findings that you have gotten or they disagree with it. Then instead of discussing studies one by one, we discuss per theme or trends, citing multiple sources for each. That means we can have one or two articles that are relating together. You can merge the discussion together and then you cite all the articles together. Then we have tools and database. Like I said earlier, I think I've already talked about that. The databases that can be used to search our literature review. I've already talked about that. That is Google Scholar, Scopus, Web of Science, and so on. Then we move to research methodology overview. We'll be talking about what methodology is, why is it important to conduct methodology, the research paradigms, key methodological approaches, then data collection techniques, data analysis techniques. So the research methodology is just like a gear icon that represent the research process. The methodology is like the gear of a project. It drives how the study runs and determines how all parts merge together. Most times I always tell my mentee that research methodology is just like a blueprint, like a design. It guides you through your analysis and your implementation. Just like you have an architecture that wants to build house. So the architecture has a sketch. The sketch is given to a builder. The builder understands it, and then they build the house. So the methodology is just like a sketch, like a blueprint of how our model is going to be implemented, or how our research objective is going to be implemented and achieved. So if anybody sees that, they can be able to interpret that, okay, this is what and what is going to be done to achieve that product that we are trying to get at the end of the day. So the research methodology refers to the overall strategic and rationale of your research project. So the specific procedure or technique used to identify, select, process, and analyze information about a topic is our research methodology. So research methodology, in essence, involves you identifying, you selecting, you processing, and analyzing information about a topic you are trying to research on at that particular time. So why is it important for us to conduct methodology? A clear methodology is crucial for credibility. So it ensures that the research is carried out systematically and that result is trustworthy. You don't just carry out research anyhow. You make sure that steps that are meant to be followed are followed when you're carrying out a research. You can't skip a method when you're trying to carry out a research. For instance, if I'm trying to carry out a research I've already reviewed, now I'm in the methodology section. The first thing I'm supposed to do is acquire data set. That's the first method, or let me say, the first method can be trying to get your research objective. After the objective, maybe your research question. After the research question, you can now go by getting your data set. But in our own field, that is maybe in the field of what is a social science field. In our own field, the first thing we do is after our objective, we go straight to our data set. So what I'm saying in essence is that there are steps that you have to, or phases that you have to go through to achieve a research methodology. So that methodology makes you to outline those steps that you have to follow to achieve your product at the end of the day. So now research and paradigms. So in designing research, consider the paradigms or general approach. The first one is quantitative approach, and this involves like numerical or numeric data and statistical analysis, and it is often used to test hypotheses and measure variables. And then we have the quantitative research, which is it's expressed in the numbers, tables, or graphs. I know some of us are familiar with researches that shows or that discuss their findings through using table to represent, using graph to represent. Those are the quantitative researches as well. So we have the qualitative, and it involves the non-numerical data like text, audio, or observation. It's used to explore meaningful meanings, experiences, or concepts in depth. So the qualitative research is expressed in words or narrative, just like we said earlier about narrative review, and is great for gaining insight into complex issues. Example is maybe you have like interview. You can collect your data set by going to people, you ask them questions, you interview them by asking them questions. But most times those interview questions are already documented. And then you just go there, you throw the questions to them, they answer, you get your data from there. Then you can have a focus group. Maybe you have a group already that you've already informed them, okay, this is what you want them to do for you. And then they focus on that research area that you're trying to work on. Then we have the mixed method, that is trying to combine both the quantitative and the qualitative approach in in one study. Then we have the key methodological approach. There are various research design within these paradigms. One is the experimental. You manipulate one or more variable under control condition observe effects on other variables. Experimental is modify or change one or more variables to look at that particular time, and then you try to observe the effect of the one of the variable over the other. That is the experimental approach. For example, maybe in a lab, you are trying to conduct an experiment, and then you administer a treatment to one group, and you do not administer the treatment to another group. You try to check the effect between the two groups. That is like an experiment being conducted. Then we have a survey research. Survey research is like trying to gather data set through a sample of people. Most times this involves like questionnaire or interview. But most method that is normally used is the questionnaire. Like all these Google form questionnaire or the paper questionnaire that people go around to give sample of people to fill for them, and then they analyze and they try to get their findings from those people's view. Then we have case study. So an in-depth investigation of a single case or a small number of cases is the case study use multiple data sources. It can use interview, it can use documents, it can use observation. You just maybe you're trying to conduct a research, and then you have a group of people, you just maybe daily, or maybe you have an area that you want to conduct a research, you go there almost every day, you sit down and then you observe, you are documenting your data, you observe your document. So those are ways that you can have a case study and then you get your data set from that case study using interview method, document method, or observation method. Then we have ethnographic study. It involves the qualitative approach where the researcher immerses themselves in a community or context to observe and interpret social interaction, behavior, and culture. For example, like I said, if you have maybe a community where maybe you have a community you're trying to observe their ethnics. Maybe you go there, you just sit down, or you can even live there for like a week to observe the way things are done, observe their behavior, observe the way they interact, observe their culture, and all those. Those are also ways of conducting a methodological approach. Then other methods include longitudinal study, correlational study, grounded theory, and so on. So, like I said earlier, we've already talked about data collection technique. One is interview, where we have one-on-one question. You try to have maybe one person that you go around one after the other to ask people questions, and then you document your records and your finding. Or you have a like group of small people, you sit down, you ask questions, you interview them, and then you get your data from there. So sometimes your data can be, your interview questions can be structured. That is, you have already prepared some questions already, and then you just go there and start reading those questions to them, and then they answer and you document. Or unstructured, where you just ask question randomly. You did not plan for any question, you did not plan any question down. You just go there, you ask question randomly. As they give you response to one question, you can pick another question from that response, and so on. That is the unstructured way of interview questioning, questions for interview. Then we have survey and questionnaire. Like I said earlier, you develop a questionnaire. It can be paper, it can be Google form, and then you send it out for people to fill. Then we have observation. I said earlier how observation is being done. Then we have secondary data. The secondary data is a data that is already being collected as raw data. Data is already analyzed, and then you pick up that data and reuse. Most times, secondary data can be from maybe, like for instance, this COVID-19 data set is a secondary data. You know, the government collected the data set, they put it online for us, we pick it, we use it to analyze, is the secondary data. But the ones that you collect with questionnaire, interview, directly by yourself, those are primary data. So historical record, archives, medical content, media content, those are secondary data sets. Then we have data analysis techniques. The first one is statistical analysis, where we use is normally used for quantitative data, and then we try to analyze and summarize our hypothesis. Then the statistics, the descriptive statistics that we can use our mean, modal, media, mode, charts. We can use t-test, ANOVA, regression, and so on. You can use it for our statistical analysis. That is after we have gotten our data, and then we try to analyze those data to get our insight. So these are the method, the statistical method that we can use to analyze those data sets. Then tools that can be used under these are SPSS, R language, Python, Excel. Those are some of the common tools that can be used for statistical analysis. Then we have thematic analysis, which is a common approach for qualitative data. Example is our interview transcripts. We have researcher reading through the data to identify the themes or patterns, and then they now use coding. You use coding, you label our segments of text with codes, and then we try to go on with our analysis. Then we have context analysis, where we have the qualitative analysis, or the mixed analysis. So in qualitative analysis, you might count the frequency of certain words, phrases, or concepts in text or in media. And then in qualitative content analysis, you interpret the meaning of the content, possibly similar to semantic analysis. So example, that is the content analysis is often used for analyzing documents like books, our newspaper, social media posts, and so on. So this is more or less related close to when we hear semantic analysis, opinion analysis. These are this falls under content analysis. So we have other analysis method like which depends on our design, and we have things like statistical modeling, network analysis, narrative analysis for story, and so on. So now, structuring the literature review and research methodology section. One is that you writing the literature review. Literature review entails the introduction, the body, and also the conclusion. And the literature review, you try to introduce the research study or the study that you're trying to conduct, the research you're trying to conduct, you try to introduce it, like trying to talk about what has been done in the past. Then you talk about the body, where we review related works to the research we are trying to conduct. You review what previous authors have done in the line of the
Hi,
research you are trying
Dr.
to
Roslin.
conduct. Sir?
Hi, Dr. Roslin. Yeah, thank you so much. This has been knowledge filled. So we have like 5 minutes. You have like 5 minutes more so that we can take questions.
All right.
Yeah,
I'm
thank you
already
so
rounding
much.
up. Yeah,
Great.
thank you. Yeah, so we have common literature research pitfall. Yeah, we should be careful that the articles that we are trying to review are not outdated. They have to be relevant, and then we try to prevent plagiarism. Plagiarism is that you are trying to report someone else's work and you don't cite them. And then when you are reporting their work, you don't report verbally. You have to rephrase in your own words, and then you cite the authors as well. Then writing the methodology section, you design your research, you look at the participants that you are trying to use, and for your research, and then for your data collection, data source, the material, the measures, the analysis, and ethical approval. Then I've already talked about this. We can read it up when we have the notes. Okay. Now, how to handle specific methodological issue. One is that you clarify your research question. The second one is that you review existing studies for you to be able to handle those issues. And then sometimes you have to seek advice from experts, people that you know, like they are your mentor. You go to them, you ask them to put you through some issues that you are facing in your methodological technique. And then you pivot your methodology, you adapt and adjust your choices. Then you also use mixed method, like I've already mentioned earlier. You ensure that you follow ethical consideration before conducting a research. Then the practical tips, that is when you are trying to conduct reference literature review, there are some reference management that you can use. You can use Mendeley, we can use EndNote, you can use Zotero, and then you try to manage your time when you are trying to work with when you're trying to conduct literature review and methodology, and then you continue learning, and then you put into consideration ethical consideration. That is when you are, because there are sometimes when you are trying to work with human beings, animal, we collect ethical approval from people, from a committee that are in charge of that, for you to be able to conduct that. Because if you don't, journals will caution, they will disturb you and they may not publish your work. So you have to put that into consideration. So in conclusion, a strong research foundation lies on a comprehensive literature review and a solid methodology, ensuring credibility by identifying existing knowledge gap and applying appropriate research strategies. So the literature review informs what needs to be studied and why the methodology outlines how to study it effectively. So these components are interconnected, as prior research often shaped methodological choice, and ongoing methodology refinement may require revisiting the literature. So mastering these skills takes practice, but continuous learning enhances the ability to evaluate, synthesize, and apply research effectively. So final thought, a well-founded study not only earn better grades or publication potential, but also contribute more meaningfully to your field. So lay those strong foundation, dig deep into the literature, and build your study on robust methods. Future you and other scholars will thank you. These are my some of the references I use. Thank you for listening, and any question.
Awesome delivery. Excellent. Thank you so much, Dr. Roslyn. This is power packed. It's been an awesome 1 hour with you. Thank you so much for doing this for us. Yeah, so questions have
Thank
started
you.
coming in and I'm going to be reading them so that you can
Okay.
quickly provide answers to them. So I'm going to be taking the first one which I have in the chat now. So Chita is asking that what type of research methodology can the people in public health, which type of research methodology can they employ? The people in public health.
Okay. From my little research so far, people in public health, they can use more or less like a systematic literature review, because the principal method that I mentioned, actually the structure was built in the medical, it was used to follow like a medical field research work. So we advise if you can use a systematic literature review. So you can read on that Prisma systematic literature review. When you write a literature review using that Prisma, most times journals don't reject that article. They don't reject the article. It can be rigorous, but it's always a good one.
Spot on,
Prisma, that is
spot on, spot on.
Prima.
Spot on. Thank you so much, ma. So I have another question from our Telegram attendee because while we're here on Zoom, some people are also listening to us right now on our community Telegram group. So if you are here to join the DSN Telegram group, the link has been posted in the chat. This is where we have over 15,000 of our community members engaging us. So a question from the Telegram group. You said when publishing a paper, it must be peer reviewed. Does it mean that one cannot publish my own thesis? You said
Yeah,
when
yeah, you can.
publishing. Okay. Did you
Oh,
get the
okay, you can.
question? Or should I
Yeah,
read
I
it?
got the question.
Great. Please go
Yeah,
on, man.
you can publish your thesis. But most times, it's not as if we are going to drop the whole document. Most times, we extract from our thesis and then we submit it to journal for publication. And then sometimes you go for conferences, they will tell you to come and talk about your thesis, and then they add to it. So while you submit what you want to talk about from your thesis, they have reviewed it before they now publish it in the proceeding. So most times, if you are publishing for your thesis, you have to extract from your work, you submit it to a journal before it is being published.
Perfect, perfect. So I have another question here. As regards to secondary data, how does one get data for an economic project? I know the site to go, but how to extract data and how to ensure the extracted data is organized properly is what I don't know.
Okay, the economical data, like I said earlier, the method you are even using to analyze depends on your research objective. The objective you are trying to solve, your research question, your hypothesis, those determines your research, it determines the method you are going to use to analyze. So when you get that data, most times there are tools, like I mentioned, there are tools that you can use to analyze the data. So that's, you have to understand the question you are trying to solve, the question you are trying to solve, the objective of your study, and also the hypothesis. In fact, the hypothesis determines how or the method you are going to use to analyze your data, because it's not all method that can be used to analyze any kind of data. You have to understand your hypothesis. Those are very important before you even know the data you are trying to download or the other. But
Yes.
if I didn't answer your question well, please, I think you can drop my LinkedIn or my contact so that you can contact me and then I can put you through more.
Yes, we will surely do that. And I was just going to say the conversation continues on our Telegram group also, even after this call. And they can always
Okay.
reach out to us. There's a lot of positive feedback in the chat. They are saying thank you, ma. TJ Sunimi say thank you. Jacinta say thank you. Dawa say thank you. And
Thank
yes,
you.
so I have a question from Hussein. He said, thank you, Dr. Roslyn and DSN. Is there going to be a practical aspect for literature review? I think this question is even for us. So how do we join DSN research committee as research enthusiasts? Yeah, so we've cascaded this that it's going to be through your community. I mean your the community that is in your vicinity, because for all our community, we actually have a mandate for them to at least turn in a research paper, because that's one of our focus at DSN. As a community, our focus remains data analytics, data science, and AI. And the way you can capture those three things is when you write research, when you participate in contributing to the research body. And a question from Favor. We have several methods of data collection, including interviews, surveys, and observation, with some be easier to conduct than others. However, in research, determining when data is sufficient for generalization is crucial. At what point can we confidently say that our collected data is enough to make valid generalizations? It's also asking
Oh,
what factors should be considered to ensure our findings accurately represent the larger population? Did you capture
okay.
it, ma?
Yeah, I did.
Good.
Actually, there's an article that we always refer to. In that article, there was a mathematical equation that was used in that article, which is being adopted. I think I will try and look for the article. I can't remember, but there's a mathematical article equation that you can use to actually calculate whether your population is okay for analysis or not. Because the question is actually a very good one. Because if it's the population or the respondents you are trying to get is not adequate enough, like for instance, if you are conducting a research for Nigeria, there's a particular number of respondents that you must have before that work is acceptable and is publishable. If you don't get up to that response, the paper will be rejected. There's a calculation that is being used for that. If I get my hands on it, I can drop it on the Telegram group.
Thank you so much, man. Thank you so much. Yeah, a lot of feedback engagement is going on in the chat. Chita is asking, can we have researchers to teach us how to handle referencing with Mendeley? Yes, sure, we can get back
Mm.
to you on this. And if you have questions too, you can push it to us via our mail, AI committee@datasciencenigeria.al. We'll get all these questions across to Dr. Roslyn and we'll provide answer to you. And she's also on the Telegram group. So through this week or the weekend, she's on the group attending to all questions from this conversation. Okay, so I'm going to be taking the last question before we move on to the next thing on our agenda. Esther is saying, thank you so much, ma, for this insightful session. Please, can you recommend a free plagiarism checker?
Um, Actually, the best and the one that all these high impact journal, international journal that they use is Turnitin. But the Turnitin is not free. It's normally being subscribed to by universities because it's very, very expensive. But the free one that I'm familiar with is all these keyboards. I think Grammarly does that too. You can try and use that. But as much as possible, like I said, we are here to mentor each other. If you need assistance in checking plagiarism, I'm also available to assist because I have Turnitin subscription, so I can always assist too. Even I'm telling DSN too.
Thank you so much, Dr. Roslyn. It's been an awesome 1 hour with you, and we're really happy that we called you and you responded to our invitation. Thank you so much for doing this for us. We really
Thank you for
appreciate your
having
time.
me.
Yeah. So if you are here to mark your attendance, the link has been dropped to the chat. So let's quickly fill our attendance. The form will be open for the next few minutes before we close it. Remember that this attendance is what qualifies you at the end of the year for a certificate of participation. Consistency and the passion and the dedication and the commitment means that yes, you're actually a DSN community member. So make sure you fill your attendance. The form will be open for a few hours after this course. So Lucy is saying, is this program only for Nigeria? No. No, no, no. This program is for everybody. We have learners across over 96 countries, like I
I'm
said.
not in Nigeria.
It's not even in Nigeria. So the committee is open to everybody. The committee is open to everybody, Lucy. So you can always share the news about DSN to all your friends if you are not in Nigeria. So more questions in the chat, but like I said, the conversation continues on the Telegram group because we are actually fine behind schedule. This
Sorry, this Robert has been raising his hand since.
Oh, Robert. Let me see. Robert, do you have your question in the chat? Let me see. Let me see if I can just give you 1 minute. Hi Robert, so if you can hear me, you can quickly drop your question in the chat if you have a question, so that I can quickly take it because your hand has been up. Yes, so we're also taking feedback. This is week 2 of the DSN Research Masterclass, and we're actually going to week 4. Yes, we are going to week 4. So we are halfway into it. Last week was a fully masked one, and this is another power pack session. So anticipate for the next week. Oh, next week we are going to be talking about results and how you are presenting your paper, how you are coming up with a convincing conclusion. And in the week 4, we are going to be talking about how you can convert all this research work into a product. I mean, a scalable product, a tangible product. Yes, so I'm very sure you are excited as I am now to be in next session, even from today. Yeah, so thank you so much, everyone, for joining us this afternoon. It's been a pleasure hosting you for the past 1 hour. Really appreciate your time. This session continues from it continues next week 3 to 4, but from Monday to Thursday we are going to be having our self-paced learning before we come for a live session like this. So I'm quickly scanning through the chat again to see if Robert has dropped his question, but I can't see anything. So okay, Kuyet is saying, how can I get my membership ID? So we're going to be dropping the link. All you need to do is to register to become a member of DSN. After registering, your ID will be generated for you, and you can use your ID to complete your attendance. And then my colleague has also dropped Dr. Roslyn LinkedIn profile in the chat now, so you can always connect with her. She's always available yeah, to do the community work. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you for joining. So Esteem is saying how will it be generated? So by the time you are done completing your registration, the last part of completing your registration is generating your ID. It's quite seamless to do. Yeah, thank you so much, everyone. Thank you for joining. See you on Monday via our self-paced learning platform, and then see you on Friday for our live session. Enjoy the rest of your day and have a great weekend ahead. Bye, everyone.
Bye.